In tonight's episode, we talk about if it's possible to be woke and a Christian at the same time. Stay tuned. All right, guys. What's up, y'all?
Hello.
This is Marvin.
And Amber.
And we're with the
Family O.
We appreciate you rocking with us for this particular video. We are going to go there in a couple of areas with this particular video. And just know that everything that we say is always with love and in love. And if you don't agree, that's fine. We are okay with that as long as you're not being disagreeable.
Exactly.
That's how we feel.
Yes. So before we get started, we want to ask you guys to go ahead and push that subscribe button if you haven't already. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up already because you know we're going to bring it to you the way it should be brought to you.
Hello.
And also there's a little notification for when the videos, whenever we're putting videos out, there's a little bell. Go ahead and click that as well so that you can be notified whenever we have a new video.
For sure. For sure. So we're going to get started. We're going to jump right in, guys. We don't know how long this is going to be of a video. We're not going to put any time limits because we really want to get out our thoughts.
Exactly.
We've dealt with this topic personally, and we want to share our perspectives on it and open the dialogue for you guys to jump in and let us know your thoughts as well.
Yep, sounds good.
So we're going to talk about the definition of wokeness. You might be watching this video and you might be asking yourself, well, what does it mean to be woke? I woke up this morning, my alarm woke me up. I was late, but I'm awake nonetheless. What does it mean? We don't mean that woke. The term that we're referring to, according to Wikipedia, because you know Wikipedia is our new encyclopedia, woke is a political term of Black origin that refers to a perceived awareness of issues concerning social justice and racial justice. It is derived from the African-American vernacular English expression, stay woke, whose grammatical aspect refers to a continuing awareness of these issues. Its widespread use since 2014 is a result of the Black Lives Matter movement. All right, so do you want to jump in? As far as your thoughts on if you believe you can be woke and be a Christian at the same time?
That's what we're talking about, you guys. Being woke and being a Christian at the same time.
Yeah.
So I want to first begin by saying that we are Christians. We love God. We believe that Jesus Christ died for our sins. We believe he rose on the third day. We believe in that wholeheartedly. We are saved and we are striving to be disciples of Christ.
Hello.
And I think that what we have found in our time, especially being public as far as being on Instagram and having a YouTube page and stuff like that, is that some people have thought that it is their responsibility to basically identify for us whether we can love God and also love our people, which we do both. I think very well.
Very well.
And I don't think that you have to put one to the side in order to appreciate the other. Because we are man, we are people, we believe that obviously there is a creator that is greater than all of us. And that is our God that we believe in. And we believe that also that that we have a right to stand up for injustice. And so because we know that in our particular culture, especially as African people, we deal with injustices all the time. You know, so I just don't understand why we would need to separate, you know, because we love God, because we serve God, why we would need to separate that from injustices, racism, prejudice, so on and so forth with our culture. It doesn't make sense to me. But I think it kind of begins from what's come at us. It begins with the whole idea of identifying God and what God looks like, what Jesus looked like, and things like that. And to be honest with you, that's a whole nother conversation, but we don't even really need to worry about that at this particular point. We just know that we believe in a higher power. We see the evidence daily. We could just go on and on and on and on about just the majesty of God and the impact that he's had on our lives and that he just continues to do in our life. And we believe that you can be a Christian and you can still be woke, or you can still care about your people.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I look at it, and I'll put it like this. So I respect a lot of people. I follow a lot of people on my personal Instagram page that are of the same faith as me and are not of the same faith as me. And some cool pages, you know, we all know Sensei, Brother Louis Farrakhan, Dick Gregory.
Oh, yeah, the late Dick Gregory. Yeah.
And a couple of icons, T.D. Jakes.
Yeah.
A couple of icons who, you know, that generation is dying out. Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
Al Sharpton, you know, a lot of these individuals that were at one point in time respectable leaders of our community. Some of the people I mentioned still are.
Yeah.
Some are not. But for lack of a better word, they're all elders.
Yeah.
You know, and so the way as we've entered this social media game, and being YouTubers and all that, you know, we open a section of our lives as far as how we personally feel about certain things. On our Family O page, we don't really get too involved in the day-to-day, you know, of what's going on. Certain things we'll comment on, certain things, or we'll post on, certain things we don't. But we're definitely not reactionary to what's going on. We like to stand back, observe things, you know, kind of, you know, get all the details before we share our thoughts on it, if it's something worth sharing our thoughts on.
Yeah.
Our faith is the center of our universe.
Yes.
And so the main thing that I've heard a couple of people on social media that have said on our page and other pages that we follow, people like T.D. Jakes, Louis Farrakhan, Brother Ben X, who's a young cat, who's really making some noise, you know, in the Nation of Islam community. I respect him. He looks like he has his head on his shoulders. But the logic now, and I blame it on the internet. I blame it on a lot of over processing of too much information at one time. And so now we have people that believe that, okay, well, God or Jesus is actually this is the white man's guys. Why are you guys serving a white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus? As though they assume that's what we follow.
Exactly.
Or they'll say, well, you know, the Holy Trinity is really Egyptian in nature, and it's really based off of Set and Ra and all this and all that, you know. And it's like, I think it's while I respect individuals that believe that, you know, you should read a lot of books. You should just be reading. You know, while I totally respect that, a lot of times, you know, the books that we are reading are books that were written maybe 5 or 10 years ago, at the most 20 or 30 years ago. We follow Christ. We follow a man who came into this world according to a lot of trusted resources, roughly 2,000 years ago, give or take a couple of years, that walked this earth for 33 years. And it's all documented historically, not only in the Bible, but outside of the Bible. If you just want to quote, and I'm not going to quote any because I don't have any notes here, but I have them. If anybody's interested, I can provide that in the comments below. But the Bible's been around 2,000 years. It was, the group understanding is that it was, some sections of it were written by man, but it was inspiration by God. And I mean the Judeo-Christian God that we serve. And so I'm not going to put more bearing personally, and my baby's the same way, on a book that someone wrote maybe 20 to 30 years ago and say that this is now the truth, and then a book that was written well over 2,000 years ago that's still the most printed book in history. I'm not going to put more bearing on a book that someone just wrote in 1980 something over that. That's just us. Our particular faith in Christ, we are disciples of Christ. We don't subscribe to any religious construct of Christ. We follow hair of wool, feet of brass, Middle Eastern, somewhere in the Middle East is where he was born. It's been, Nazareth, that particular Israel, what is not Israel, that particular area. He was never blonde hair, blue eyed historically, and and DNA wise, it's impossible to have blonde hair and blue eyes. Many believe that the painting that everyone sees is Michelangelo, a person, I think they said his lover or something.
We don't.
But that's not what we subscribe to.
Yeah.
So our faith does not negate that we're aware of issues going on in our community, that we're aware of issues going on outside of our community that indirectly and directly affect our community. And the two can go together.
Yeah.
You can't, there's no way you can be, because some say, well, you can't be woke. If you're woke, then you wouldn't consider yourself Christian.
Yeah.
That's one opinion.
That's opinion.
And again, I don't want to hear about any book that somebody just wrote 20 years ago or 30 years ago. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because a lot of times that whole ideology based on our research comes from slavery.
Assuming and we do research too, guys.
Exactly. We have done research, and we know that this is our truth, and we believe that Jesus Christ is the way. He's the truth, and he's the life.
Yep.
It's that simple. But the ideology, comes from slavery and just the whole ideal that Christianity was just pushed and placed up on us.
It was.
And what we have to understand, because I told Babe this a while ago too, like sometimes you have those questions where you're trying to understand, well, yeah, I mean, that is true. We know that slavery existed and slavery was horrible and just the torment that our people went through and things of that nature. So you kind of think, well, yeah, that doesn't make sense. But what I realized is that there were a segment of people, there was a group of people that decided they wanted to take what was written in the Bible and flip that around for their benefit.
And manipulate.
Yeah, to manipulate it, to make it to, where they could win.
And justify the horrible action.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But that doesn't take away from the pureness of Scripture.
Exactly.
It was just manipulated in a certain period of history and used to oppress a certain group.
Exactly. And even like Babe kind of mentioned it a moment ago, like when you think about Christianity in itself, when I was in college, y'all, I took a Christianity course. It has nothing to do with salvation. It had nothing to do with your actual relationship with God. Yeah. Like Christianity is like a religion. And like, I don't want to say like, how you hear people say, well, I'm not really religious. I'm super spiritual, all this type of stuff. So I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that we just follow Christ. It's that simple. Yeah. We are disciples of Christ. And we believe in God. We believe in his power. We believe in, just everything about him. And we don't subscribe to the rituals and things like my babe was saying. We both grew up in certain denominations. Yeah.
I grew up Catholic.
Yeah, and I grew up Church of God in Christ. And it was very ritualistic, just like a lot of the different faiths and things that you see. Yeah. But as we got to know God for ourselves and formed an actual relationship, we were able to see that, being saved and having salvation is more than just like going to church every Wednesday for Bible study and reciting these different words and then praying and standing up and going down on your knees, 20 times and dashing water on your forehead and, just all the different religious things. What else? We used to recite all these different things.
Yeah. And for us, it was like 30 Hail Marys, 50 All Father. Yeah. And I'm not Catholic anymore. Yeah,
and I don't subscribe to Church of God in Christ anymore. Like we're not denominational, but I'm not saying I'm not trying to make a light of anything. All I'm saying is that what we've learned is that salvation is about a relationship with God, not about what the church says you can or cannot do or whatever have you, because that's the way we both grew up in different respects.
Yes.
So in saying that, I think that kind of is the whole religious type thing that sometimes people are kind of turned off by because it's a lot of man-made things, a lot of rules and stuff. Right. So we're more interested in our relationship with God. Like God will, like I remember one time, babe, you remember it was years ago in Houston, there was a MLK silent march. Remember when we did that? Yeah. Y'all, it was phenomenal. Like, oh my goodness, we love that. So like, we've always been about our people. Right. When we did this silent march, it was literally like, I don't remember if it was on MLK Day or if it was around the time or whatever, but basically we were in Houston and we started at one point and walked to another point, and then there was no rallying, there was no chanting, there was nothing. It was complete silence.
Yes.
And it was for MLK, but it also was just for our people in general, to just show that we had unity and to show that we know how to come together and we know how to be a community. And it was so amazing. And those are the type of things that we like to participate in, things that, you know, whether it's just making a statement to kind of bring us together, or if it's an actual something that's actually going on. But we're not the type of people where we're like, okay, yeah, I'm woke. Come on, let's go, let's do, you know, and just hyped up about a lot of stuff, but not really doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, go ahead.
It's a prime example. You know, most recently this week, with the whole situation that happened with the two young men at Starbucks and all that stuff going on. And so it was one of those situations where you got, that was lit, guys. But with the situation at Starbucks, you know, we looked at that situation, and, you know, from a biblical perspective, we look at it like, you know what, this individual that called the police on the gentleman, they have some kind of anger and hate in their hearts that it caused them to, you know, see two young men that were doing absolutely nothing and call the police on them. And the police got there, and rather than them looking at how ridiculous it was to be called in the first place and filing a false police report on the manager, they decided to handcuff the gentleman and take him to jail for 8 hours. Well, in those situations like that, yes, we're mad. Yes, we're angry. But above all that, you know, we need to pray for these people, that they need to get it together. You know, these individuals that look at people of color and say, okay, I'm afraid of you. You look like a ridiculous perception that's been put on TV for all these years, and I'm going to call the police because you're a scary black man or a woman or whatever the case may be. Well, aside from praying for these individuals, now we take it to the, you know, the wokeness that we believe you have to have. And we're going to say, if it were us, we don't drink coffee anyway, but we're no longer going to use Starbucks drinks. You know, we don't drink coffee anyway, but we're no longer going to go into Starbucks until they show some type of, and they're trying, you know, their Starbucks is trying. I'll give them that. You know, they've done a couple of things, and I think they're going to shut down all their stores on a certain day of the month, either this month or next month, to teach their employees about how to handle their customers of different races and nationalities. But, you know, it's going to be a while before we patronize them again, unless they show that they are making actions. They fired the person, the manager in question that called the police quit, whatever the case is. But, you know, we're going to sit and watch and see what they're going to do for those young men before we decide whether we're going to patronize them. So we're going to pray that people that have that certain mindset of color that just immediately jump and call the police or immediately shoot them, unarmed black men and women of color, for no reason other than just being scary black people. But then we're going to take it a step further with our dollars, and we're not going to patronize a place like that. That is the woke part of it. Exactly. And the Christian spiritual part of it. We do both.
Exactly. Most definitely. I mean, I think that we just, for us, prayer is just so powerful.
It really is.
And personally, you know, for the people that choose to be woke and not have that spiritual guide with them, I don't understand it. I just don't, because I know, Babe and I was talking the other day about how I was just telling him that a lot of times we'll pray about something, and you know that you've only talked to God about this certain thing. You know what I'm saying? And then when you see things come to pass, and you know, you only told God, you didn't tell anybody else. You didn't even say it out loud, and then it comes to pass. Countless things that happen that way. It's nothing but God. It's nothing but the power of God. And I just feel that I don't know. It's naive to me to think that you're gonna make it and be okay in life without having that power and that covering. You know what I'm saying?
you know, a lot of people, if you remember the movie Black Panther, you know, that was like a big time in the woke community.
Yeah.
You know, people were on both sides of the issue. Can you be woke and you go see Black Panther? Or if you're woke, you better go see Black Panther. And then there was a meme that was going around that was real big, and you know, in some woke pages that basically said it was a scene where T'Challa, you know, Chadwick Boseman's character, when he was in talking to the ancestors, and the meme under it said, you see, our people, we don't talk to a God. When we have issues, we go back and talk to our ancestors. And I say respectfully, okay, well, who made the ancestors? Where did the first ancestor go? Who did they talk to? And I think specifically for that meme, they forget that these individuals in Black Panther, they worship the panther god and the monkey god. If you're a comic book person, you know this. But it's foolish to talk about or paying homage to ancestors when we go no longer on this earth and we're in the sweet by and by. I don't want our great grandkids praying to us. You need to pray to the person that created us, to the being that created us. Don't pray to us, because I can't help you.
Exactly, and we definitely believe in giving homage and respect to our ancestors.
Yeah, of course.
But to be praying to them, no. Like we're not down for that.
Or asking them for strength. And, who made the ancestors? It's always, we have to trace it and say, okay, we are Pan-African, so we understand that, you know, having respect for those that came before you is a big part. It's a big part of our lives. We respect the path that was created, the things that we're able to do that our great grandparents could only have dreamed about. But they have done their work on this earth, and now they are enjoying their reward, and probably aren't even thinking about this. You know what I'm saying? They are, because we believe energy is never destroyed. We believe energy transfers. So there's no reincarnation, in my opinion, in our belief. There's no reincarnation. You're not going to come back and do over, because I sure don't want to come back. To be honest with you, I'm done. When we're done, we're done. But nor is there a nothingness. It's called nihilism, where when you leave this earth, you just cease to exist. If we look at it from a science perspective, energy can never be destroyed. That's right. So I believe we return to the source with which we came. That's right. And that, in our belief, is God. It's God. And so we are excited about, you know, we're excited about finishing the race, but while we're here, we're going to do our part to strengthen our relationship, to get closer to being Christ-like, going from, as our church talks about, being believers, moving past being a believer to being a disciple of Christ and following him in his ways.
Exactly. And then also, I think it's important to mention, we kind of touched on it a little bit before, babe, is that we both grew up with Christian faith values, things of that nature. But as we got older, we had to really see, okay, is this really real in our lives? And so we both have, like, you know, done research of other faiths and beliefs and things like that. So it's not like we're just saying it's just only from the standpoint of what our parents put inside of us, you know. We've definitely had some experiences with other type of things, you know, just different belief systems, you know, from, you know, Islam to 5%ers to what else can we think of?
Buddhists, halfway Buddhists. We've been exposed to a lot, but we still, like you were saying, in our maturity as adults, we could decide we're not under our parents' religion anymore. We could decide at a certain age, as soon as we became independent, that we're not going to believe in anything. And that's fine. If you choose to do that, that's fine. But we still, even out of our parents' home, we still know and have seen it. That's the thing. Some people just call it luck. Some people just call it chance or whatever. But in my life, I have seen it's no way God don't exist in certain things happening. And I don't mean all good and all bad. I mean that everything was a literal roadmap. And I see how certain situations in the past worked out in the future, and everything just kind of basically came full circle.
Most definitely. Even when you think about our daughter, you guys, which we haven't really shared the story about our daughter, and maybe one day we'll do that. But we try, I think, like after 2 years of being married, we decided we wanted to have a family, and so we decided, okay, we're gonna get pregnant. And we had a struggle with that, y'all. I mean, it was like, that's the reason why, like, we just love our little girl so much. We know all parents love their kids, but we really just, we are so blessed. She's everything to us.
We'll catch a case for Liberty.
Yeah, we definitely will. So that in itself, like, to go from literally trying for what seemed like forever to have our 5-year-old daughter right now is nothing but a miracle. And then even, babe, what you were just talking about as far as sometimes some of the negative things, we remember it was back in 2011, as a matter of fact, 2011. So this was, we had just signed the paperwork to buy our first home, you guys, in 2010. I'm going to get personal a little bit, which we don't tend to do that too much, but I just want to bring it, like you were saying, full circle. Yeah. But it was like 2010, we had gotten into a car accident. This is around the time we was trying to get pregnant too with Liv. So I remember I was like, somebody ended up rear-ending us from the back in our car. And at the time, we had like a really nice car, you guys, a very luxury car. And the lady ended up just slamming into us. The car had to be totaled. That's just how horrible it was. I'll never forget that day. We were supposed to take our other car, but I didn't like the car, y'all. It was so uncomfortable. And the other car was like a really nice car. It was so comfortable. The seats were comfortable and it was spacious. So I remember me and babe was going back and forth. I was like, babe, can we please take the other car? So keep in mind, this is a very nice car, y'all.
Very nice.
But God is so amazing, because had we took that other car, if y'all would have saw the car that we ended up taking versus the one that we didn't take, they were two completely sizes. Like, we don't even know that we would be here today.
So, the lady ran into us. She was texting on her phone and literally ran into us full speed.
Yeah, full speed, y'all. And I just remember hopping out of that car, and the first thing I said was, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I started speaking in tongue, and I was just, I didn't know really what had happened, but I knew we were alive. And then I remember in that moment thinking, oh my goodness, we're trying to get pregnant. Like, am I pregnant? I don't know it. And the baby. And anyway, make a long story short, y'all. So bringing that on, we were also trying to buy our house. Remember, at that same time.
Yes.
And we went into a few little glitches or something like that.
Yeah.
And what happened was, y'all, due to that accident, God spared our lives. We were fine. Yeah. We ended up, going to the hospital, getting checked out. We had to go through some therapy, so on and so forth. Right. But make a long story short, we had that car, and we had a car note, which since then, I don't think we've had many. We don't have a car note now, so we don't really recommend that if you don't have to. But we were, we kind of had.
It was what it was.
It was what it was, and we had a car note, y'all. And so I think something with our debt to income ratio or something.
With our first home.
With our first home. Okay, can you explain?
Well, having that car loan was kind of messing up things with our first home purchase, because when you're trying to get a mortgage, they look at your debt to income ratio, which is the ratio as far as how much debt you have outstanding versus the money that you make. So by that car getting totaled, our car at the time getting totaled, totaled out, that came off of our credit, because when our insurance totaled it out, they paid it off, and then we didn't have that car anymore. So that brought our debt to income to a point to where at first we almost didn't get our first home, but then when that came off, we were able to buy our first home.
Exactly, y'all. Yeah. And so Babe was saying that was like a not good situation, but
it turned out working out
for our good, and we didn't even know it. So, in all things, we even
countless situations.
That's just two that we just thought of. Yeah. But in the Bible, we just posted about this week. I think I posted on my Instagram page, but talked about in all things give thanks. And sometimes that can be somewhat challenging.
Because it was a nice car.
It was a very nice car. I know, Babe keeps saying we're gonna get that one day again. Yeah, but it worked out for our benefit, y'all. And I remember we ended up getting a settlement and all this stuff, so we was able to just buy a cash car, and it just worked out. And we got our house, our first home. So, which we have subsequently sold. Yeah.
And everything's been a blessing.
It has been.
I'll just leave it at that. I was going to say something.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah. So, but so our point is that, how can you not, just like India Ari has that song is how I know that God is real. Like, how can you not believe God is real when you look around and just, wow.
Somebody had to make it. I just don't believe we came from no amoebas. I don't believe we evolved from no monkeys. If you want to believe you came from a monkey, that's on you.
Go for it.
Yeah. But as far as me and mine, we were divinely. If you even look at when they talk about DNA and how our DNA works, and just
yes.
certain things that they said it without saying it, that, you know, it had to be something that was created.
Yes.
It's too perfect in the way that think about your heart that beats. You don't have to actually do anything to make your heart beat. You don't have to do anything to make your lungs breathe. You don't have to do anything to make your hair grow. It just functions. Plants grow. Then the plants that we eat have seeds, so it keeps this thing going. As long as you plant seeds in the ground, there'll always be a harvest. So it's just, like I said, if you don't believe, or if you're agnostic and you believe that there's some higher power, but it's not anything, that's fine. We respect that. We're not knocking against that. And please don't be arguing with us in our comments. We're just gonna block you. Ain't got time for that.
We'll just move past.
What we're saying is that we truly believe that you can care about the social justices and injustices going on in our community, and fight with your political with your political power, your financial dollars, whatever methodology you choose to wage war. But then you also, in the areas that you cannot control, is very important to have that faith, have that belief, that optimism. You want to get technical with it, optimism that things are going to work out for the better, because you believe it, you speak that out. They talk about it all the time, about the words that we say can control the way our brain even functions.
That's serious.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
And that's what we choose to do. And like I said, every day is the sunshine and pretty flowers and bunny rabbits. Even just living life, just being together. These how many years we've been together, man? We've been 16 years together, but we'll be 10 years married. You know, there have been areas where the enemy has attacked us, attacked us physically, attacked our marriage, attacked us in many ways.
Financial, any type of way you can think of, you know. And many people that's been together for a long time, you know, you've had different valleys and things that you've had to work through, but we're just so grateful to God that the good has far outweighed the not good.
And that's how we have to focus on it. We're not expecting, the Bible even says, in this world you will have trouble, but fear not, I have overcome the world. So the Bible tells us as Christians, if you're subscribed to the Christian faith, that it's not going to be a perfect life. It's not going to be a perfect world. You're going to have, as a matter of fact, when you declare that you love God and you love Jesus and you're a Christian, it's almost like things just come against you even harder.
Most definitely.
But we still persevere. And I just don't see how you can not have faith in a higher being. But then, you know, when you have these people that are, you know, suicide, shooting up places and all that, those are clearly people that have faith in something other than God.
Most definitely.
And so, or those people that do it in the name of God, but they're not doing it in the name of this guy, because, you know, we ain't going to go into that.
That's a whole nother one. But I was just going to say, you know, like, I'm not even trying to depend on myself to get myself through certain situations and things like that. And I'm an extremely confident person. But my main confidence comes from God, because, you know, literally, you know, God has equipped us with certain things that we can do on our own. But then what we can't do, that's when he comes into play. And even I was thinking about some of the different people in our community, such as King and such as X and Garvey and different people like that. Like, a lot of the things and teachings that they taught, you know, we believe in a lot of the different things, you know what I'm saying?
Rock with it. We agree with it.
Exactly. And then there may be some things that we don't agree with, but that doesn't mean that we can't let's just say celebrate them, or that we can't shed light on different aspects of things that they say, because none of us agree all the time about every single thing. Even my baby and I, as much as in love we are with each other, we disagree. We have different philosophies on certain things, you know, but we love each other.
And we agree and we love each other, but we agree on more than we disagree on the big things. We're on the same page.
You have, well, in my opinion, again, you have to be on the same page for the big stuff. But, you know, like little small things, for example, you know, my babe, he made, I don't know, like, well, you know what, this is something having to do with food. He thinks that dates are just nature's candy is what he calls it.
Yes, and olives.
Oh my goodness. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, what is he tasting? Especially with the olives. They're so bitter and disgusting, babe. I mean, he'll eat the green ones, the black ones, the pitted ones, the non-pitted ones. I mean,
she hates olives.
I'm talking about hate, y'all. Whenever we get a piece of sometime and we split it, we'll do half olives, half non-olives. Every time without fail, some of my side gets those olives, and I just pick them off, and I get them in every now and then. I'll taste one.
Yeah. Now, does that mean we're gonna get a divorce because I don't like olives?
Really?
I like olives and she doesn't.
No.
Again, we can disagree without being disagreeable.
Exactly. But we can still be on the same page. The same page is that we want the pizza. But his side gonna have the olives, and my side is not.
Yes. So, and of course, we're giving our example, but that's our point. We know many of you that follow this channel. You may not be of the same faith of ours, and that's okay.
And we respect
that.
Yeah.
You follow us for whatever reason you follow us, and we really appreciate that. And like I said, we're not trying to be for everybody, and no YouTube person should be trying to be for everybody. But what we truly believe is that we have more in common than we don't, and that's what we need to do is find those areas of commonality and appreciation for ourselves, our people.
Yes.
We love our people. We love our people.
And we don't care. I mean, like, this is how we are. As Christians, we feel that we're supposed to show love to everybody. So not only, like, outside of our African community, we love those people too, but within our African community, there are so many different faiths and thought processes and whatever else. We love you too. You know what I'm saying? We don't care what you think. Our job is not to change you anyway. Our job is to live our life, to be an example and to walk, and that if you're watching us, you're like, it's something about the family. Like, what is it? And then God will begin to convict your heart. But we're not here to change you anyway. But whatever your faith is, whatever your belief is, whatever you subscribe to, we just want to let you know that we love you anyway. You don't have to be just like us, So that's the reason why we're saying that these are all our thoughts, and that we don't want anyone telling us, well, wait a minute, y'all saying y'all can be woke and Christian, but no, you can't.
Yeah, we have people say, how can we be Christian and vegan at the same time?
Yeah, that was really, I didn't understand that one. Did you get that? What? Did you understand that question? I still didn't get that.
Yeah, and that's the thing about social media and this YouTube, Facebook video thing is that everyone has their opinion about certain things, and they don't even know all the facts. Neither do we. We never subscribe to say we know it all, and they make it a point to tell you why you're wrong about what you're thinking. And like I said, I've had people try to throw books at brother Marvin. I'm telling you, you need to read the by brother Dada Ajobo Cha. And I'm like, and then you read that book, and then you come back to me and see if you still believe in the Jesus Christ character, because he was actually the son of the depiction of the Virgin Mary, and the baby is really Ra and Seti, and the baby is Amun. It's like, bruh, listen, look, family. Look, chill.
So basically what I'm trying to say is, can I borrow $5?
Exactly.
Y'all remember that saying from, what was it from?
It was, I'm going to get you sucker, one of the movies.
Something,
But anyways, guys, like I said, we can agree without being, we can disagree without being disagreeable.
Exactly.
And adversarial and trying to argue our points and stuff like that. We're going to keep doing what we do. It's been working for us.
Yes, it has.
When we call out to God, Jesus, he answers. And you can't shake my faith, personally. And you can't shake my faith.
Not at all. It is what it is. We're going to keep loving God and keep loving our people.
That's it. So we appreciate you rocking with us with this video. I know that this video is a little bit longer, but let us know, your thoughts. Do you believe that it's possible to be woke and a person that loves the Lord? In the comments below. Facebook family, let us know as well if you're watching us there, and let's get the conversation going. Hopefully we haven't ruffled too many feathers. Hopefully,
please, because look, if you guys don't believe how we believe, we're telling you it's okay. So just
don't get your panties in a bunch.
Don't do that.
But anyways, guys, this is Marvin
and Amber,
and we're with the Family Yo. We appreciate you rocking with us. Until the next video, we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.